every time someone says, this guy's with bandidos, or he's with the Huns, or he's with the Dirty Dozen, or he's with the Hells Angels, they always say, but I mean, they do a lot of community service. They do a lot of good for the community. They collect toys for tots, right? Do you hear that too?
I either hear that or I hear people say, well, those guys are still around, and general public it seems to be kind of clueless that some of these groups are still out operating and, operating at a high level.
What's the history on these motorcycle gangs? Like, what? I, my understanding is they got started. Just a couple guys want to hang out after Vietnam and ride bicycles and be free, and then they kind of evolved from there. Is that your understanding of it?
Yes. So basically, this all stemmed out of World War II, and it was returning more veterans. Ended up at an event that the American Motorcycle Association was hosting in Hollister, California, and they had some loose knit clubs at that time. And basically, there was an incident that occurred during that event. It was, kind of, I think, probably a little overstated in the media, but it was kind of akin to a riot of sorts, I guess, by 1940 standards. But out of that, these groups kind of evolved a little bit. And I think they went more from just being, brotherhoods of combat veterans to, groups that got a little bit more involved in other activities, some not so legal activities. And over the course of time, there's still obviously
Yeah.
a military component to it. But I think over time, it's just kind of morphed into, I think, something that was unintended.
I think you're absolutely right. I think it started out as a bunch of guys getting together, riding a bike, on a machine, much like they did in the military. You're on a machine, you're on a Jeep, you're on a Humvee, you're on a tank, and you have that esprit de corps. You're hanging out, rebel rousing, hitting the bars, right? Getting in a little bit of trouble. And I think other organizations or within the organizations, people say, hey, listen, we got kind of a clique right here, right? And then that led to other things like organized crime and stuff like that. That's the impression that I've gotten over the years from just kind of watching that.
Yeah, I think so, and I think what happens, like with anything else, it only takes 1 or 2 bad apples to, spoil a bunch, and, these guys steer the ship in whatever direction they think it needs to go in, and the next thing you know, it might go from something, relatively harmless to something significant, something that, is resulting in violence and, drugs and a variety of other things that maybe some of these guys didn't really, you know, get in it for.